Liam, congratulations. How are you feeling?
Oh, I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, it's well, I'm just still trying to recover from the air quality that we had in New York. But other than that, I'm doing all right.
In all seriousness, I mean, was there any worry for you because of that and because you're still immune compromised?
Yeah, I didn't worry too much until I started to feel like crap, and then you get a little bit going. But yeah, I was struggling yesterday. Just kind of like it almost felt like I had a head cold, some nausea going on, and all that sort of stuff. So it wasn't an ideal situation. Luckily, I had spoken to Pedro and Katz and Haas. We're like, look, I'll pitch you. I'm available. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm available. But if there's an opportunity to kind of avoid me today, that would be greatly appreciated. So luckily, we were able to do it, and yeah, we had a good group of guys go out there for both games and keep them off the ball, which is great.
Liam, what was going through your mind when you took the ball for the first time a couple of weeks ago?
Don't mess it up, mainly. That was pretty much it. But no, it was a surreal experience. Obviously, you'd envisioned it the entire time going through treatment. You'd envisioned it going through everything. But nothing is quite as good as the real thing. Nothing is quite as emotional as the real thing. So, as I've said multiple times, I wanted to thank John Lipke, the umpire, Matt Theis, for giving me time to be able to soak it all in. To thank the Angels and White Sox organizations for not going to commercial when I came into the game. That was a unnecessary but very very nice gesture that I didn't expect, and was while watching the broadcast back in that night, it was fantastic to be able to see that and be able to track the process in. Unfortunately, I had to wear the Southside pants, and I wear a lot of baby powder, so that wasn't exactly the best look for me. But other than that, it was great.
Liam, Robbie Gould, one of the things I've admired about you as an athlete from the outside is just your leadership. Obviously going through beating cancer, coming back and pitching at an elite level. Is there something that you've taken away that you can bring back into this locker room to help these guys make a push in the AL Central? Because you are a big fixture of the leadership in that locker room. Tell us something that you're going to be able to impart some wisdom on the boys to make a run in the AL Central.
Well, I think that one of the biggest things I've learned about this is, like, don't waste your time with certain people. Like, it's like, don't try and appease everybody. Don't try and change the entirety. If someone doesn't align to your views or culture or anything like that, don't beat them over the head with it. It's just going to make everything a little bit more antagonistic. So that's one thing I've taken from this in my own personal stuff. But I mean, the first day I walked back, when I was only here for a couple of days before heading into my rehab assignment, I just walked in and started yelling at everybody to smile again. Yeah. It was a little glum in there, and since it's we've turned around. I mean, that was at the beginning of May, I think, and since then we've kind of gone on a decent run, and then we've gotten to within 3.5 games of the division lead, and that's all we can really hope for right now. We're just pushing forward and taking it day by day, but don't worry about anybody else's issues. Just control what you can control, and then everything else will fall out of place or fall into place depending on how it goes.
Liam Hendriks joining us, Waddle and Sylvie on ESPN 1000. And building on that, Liam, just being around them too, and not just, hey, saying smile. Just by seeing you, are you a good reminder to others inside that clubhouse, like if they're having a bad day, hey, here's a dude who was getting chemo not too long ago?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to anyone else's opinions or anything like that. I'm sure some people are some people were happy to see me, and others probably weren't as much, because I tend to have a little bit of a louder voice than your average person. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, it is what it is for everyone else. But hopefully, I can come back and it puts everything into a little bit more perspective. Obviously, it's not always going to go that way, and certain people have different reactions. But at the end of the day, I'm staying in my own lane and kind of, as I said, controlling what I can control.
Liam, you obviously had more important things to worry about than baseball, but did you miss baseball in the time that you weren't able to do what you normally do?
It was extremely frustrating not being able to go out there, especially with watching kind of the pen go out there, and if it was a bad game, it was just that one was hard of me. Okay, if I was there, would it have been different? With my attitude, would it have been different? With me getting there, maybe being one of those guys, would it have been different? And that was hard there, but I also had to take a step back and realize that it is what it is. Some of that stuff was going to happen no matter what. Some of the stuff is just people pressing a little bit too much. You just need to get a little bit more comfortable. And they've been doing that the last little bit. And I think, since the beginning of May, we've had one of the better bullpens in the league. And that's what we expected coming into this year.
Liam, has there been anything from you pitching, getting on the mound, recovery that has surprised yourself that you didn't expect to do when you got on the mound for the first time?
Not particularly. I mean, the one thing that surprised me was how bad my slider control was the first couple of games. But other than that, I mean, it's not really great at the best of times. So the fact that deteriorated even a little bit more was a little concerning. But since I've been able to get that back on track, it's on a track to where I need to be. But it's all the little things. It's those little tiny tweaks that all of a sudden can take me from feeling comfortable with getting a fastball or a breaking ball over to being excited and eager to get one over. It's just those little kind of tweaks. Like I'm always going to be confident in my abilities. I'm always going to trust myself no matter what situation. But there's certain times when you go from trusting yourself to being excited to prove everybody. Like it's the little tweak. It's the little tweak, but that can make a lot of difference in confidence.
Have you amazed yourself, though, Liam? Like, I know, like, you're hard on yourself. You expect excellence because you do it at the highest level. But it wasn't too long ago that you rang the bell. And now you're answering the bell as a closer for a Major League Baseball team. Have you amazed yourself that you're doing it again already?
No, because I actually missed my timeline. So I'm actually a little disappointed in the way I came back because of my ideal date was either the 17th or the 19th of May. And while I was on my rehab assignment, that was all tracking towards that. And then I hit a speed bump, which is somewhat to be expected, but it still was frustrating in my own eyes. My wife had said May 29th the entire time. Like there was never a doubt that was going to be the date. So proving her right was another. That sucked because she's always right. But I missed my timeline. So I don't think I ever expected it. I was always going to come back. I never wanted to be a burden. I never wanted to be a liability. And if I was going to come back, I knew that I needed to be able to get people out. And that was one thing that was extremely important to me. It wasn't just going to come back to fill a number or be a good story or anything like that. I was coming back to dominate and thrive.
Like you, Liam, I am a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma survivor. I'm 3 years in remission now.
Congratulations.
And congratulations to you. And it's amazing. You mentioned your wife, and in going through it at the start of the pandemic, the one thing I learned is the caretakers never get the love that they should. You mentioned your wife. What can you say about what she went through and what she did for you?
I'm not sure. I'm sure you can attest to this as well. But going through the actual treatments is a heck of a lot easier than being the caretaker, dealing with someone who with no actual ability to change anything while watching someone go through it. And I mean, I will forever hats off to my wife for she never missed a doctor's appointment. She never missed a treatment. I was very lucky, and we are very lucky in the fact that we had a little bit more flexibility with that. She drove me to and from every treatment. She was the one who picked me up on my days where I was struggling a little bit mentally. She was the one who, when the days that she was struggling mentally, would go to the bedroom or the closet and just sob there quietly so that it didn't affect my mental state. And that's something that you can never put a price on. You can never. I mean, I'll be forever grateful for everything she ever did. There's no way I am here currently in the big leagues right now without the support of Liam Hendriks.
Liam, we've talked to you in the past about the vibe of the locker room, the clubhouse, the vibe of the team. I mean, what's the vibe that you feel individually for yourself and where you're at and the club and the corner that hopefully you guys have turned?
Yeah, obviously my vibe is always going to be the same. I do the same thing every single day so that I can prove to myself that, yeah, I may not be feeling great today, but I know that I can get out and I know that I can be competitive and I know that I can go out there and do my job. As far as the vibe in the clubhouse, it's definitely taken a little bit of a turn since I've been here in a positive direction. There was a while, like when everything goes bad, it's always certain people look into themselves and blame everything on themselves, and some people look to others and blame everybody else. I think everyone's moving in the right direction right now, and they're taking accountability for what they can control. And that's what I said earlier. Control what you can control, and don't let something that doesn't go your way let you spiral out of control.
What are your thoughts on the changes, the Major League Baseball changes the pitch clock? Is it something that really doesn't have any effect on you? Do you think it's something that's positive for the game?
Look, I think it's great in terms of like getting shorter game times, especially with attention spans. Currently, the game's society going the way they are. For me, it sucks because I usually head out in the fourth inning, and I had it all down to a science the way I worked out, and now it's throwing that all into a loop. But look, I think it's great. Like, I mean, everything seems to be benefiting the offense a little bit more, which sucks to me. But at the end of the day, it's what people want to watch. It's what people want to see. And as a pitcher, now you get an opportunity to, if you do well, you're not only doing well, but you're doing well when a league is trying to suppress the pitching dominance and move more towards offense. And that's one way to look at it. But I like the clock because I've never been exactly a slow worker anyway.
Right.
I'm not a huge fan of the base because it was more of a mindset. It was more of a perception-based thing. I think people are now running a little bit more. They're willing to trust it a little bit more, so they're willing to take that risk. But all I want to do is I want to be able to get a timeout for the pitcher, no matter if there's nobody on. I think that's one thing that I think would be beneficial because I had to tie my shoe the other day, and Yaz had to make a mound visit because I don't get a timeout when no one's on. So in the midst of a longer at bat, it just it makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah. Liam, I've heard Jason Benetti tell the story that you may have pitched with cancer for a year or two. When did you know that it was serious, and what prompted you then to go to the doctor to take care of it?
So I had lumps in the middle of my neck throughout June last year. I got them checked out. So I had a blood test, urinalysis during the season last year. Nothing came up. And yeah, it was a little bit of an annoying situation. But in November, I was headed out to a wedding in Hawaii, and like that was still there. So I ended up reaching out to one of the team doctors. Hey, can I get a script for the antibiotics you mentioned in July? And he's like, hey, look, we don't really have anything. And since they're there, you should probably get it checked out a little bit more. So I went to an ENT, and that's how the whole ball got started getting rolling then.
And what was your reaction then? Did you have a moment, or was it, let's go, let's take care of it?
It was more just attacking it. There's no point in me sitting there wallowing. And plus, I'd done enough Google research when I found out that it wasn't exactly it didn't look promising. So it would almost confirm my suspicions when I got told this. But it is what it is. You sitting there and feeling sorry for yourself isn't going to change anything. But you having a positive mindset and attacking it that can be the difference.
Absolutely. Liam, we always knew before a baseball player that you were an amazing guy, and we always appreciated talking to you. It is great to have you back. Congratulations on being in remission, and continued health, all right?